you know, normal things.
Mm-hmm. So what happens when this gets cold in the car and all the condensation starts to... Because we couldn't put it in the back seat. It wouldn't fit.
Why would it get condensation? Because it's going to be cold. Just don't take it back in a warm spot until it dries.
Yeah, no, we will.
Yeah, it won't get, you won't get condensation. It doesn't work two ways. You only get condensation when you go cold to warm. The air out there is very dry. So when you take this inside, it's going to stay like this.
Right, so when we get home...
Just leave it in the truck.
What?
Just leave it in the truck.
No. For 3 days?
Well, I'd do it for a day. Probably doesn't make a lot of difference. You just don't want to be moving it because now we got this whole pan. Like, I'm going to take the crap out of it.
The only thing is that the top won't go down on the truck.
That's okay. Put a tarp over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just try not to get it rained on. But if it did, it doesn't matter because by the time we get it out of here, there's going to be skin on it.
Yeah.
Because I fix fish tanks underwater all the time.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
you ever been to the CNE?
The skinny?
The CNE.
Oh. Once, I think.
Canadian National Exhibition.
Once, I think.
Did you know that Aaron was there every single year of his life until COVID stopped it? 1 year I went 47 times. I had
You get a season pass?
I had two fish. I got in for free.
Oh,
I had free
that-
parking under the Gardner, and Aaron was young enough that he got in free. I set up 2 fish tanks for Israel when they turned 50. Now the Philippines had turned 100 that same year, so they were the featured country. So they took up Hull A, and Israel, they took up B and part of C. So even though they were smaller, like they were not the featured country, they had more vendors. And the person running that was a friend of one of my customers who bought the original rickshaws to Toronto. Those ones where they run around with them.
Mm-hmm.
Tells me a story. The wheels used to break off all the time. So they were investing more and more in fancy bolts and stronger metals and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like $35 for a bolt.
A bowl?
And then one of the fathers said, why don't you just drill the hole bigger, use a bigger bolt? They never thought of that. But he knew me, and so I was hired to set up fish tanks. So 34.5 inches for the, okay, there it is.